we have this negative kind of perception around things that happen when we don't even realize that it's a blessing.
It's a blessing,
you know. It's such an incredible. You're exactly where you're meant to be in this given moment.
Woo!
It's not copy paste.
Yeah, no.
You won't have the same experience that person had.
Absolutely.
There is no way. The mistake that we also make is that, you know, we base who people are on what we see.
Holla, holla, holla. What's good? What's poppin', ladies and gents, boys and girls? Welcome to another exciting episode of the best podcast in the country. We call it Dot Trends Podcast. Big shout out. Well, my name is Makivano. They call me Abutu. I'm a 2K. The superstars are ready to rock and roll with you.
What's up? What's happening, good people? I am not the brother of the 2Ks because I am a 2K myself. So
Wow.
This is your guy, your one and only boy, Dionisia, the levitator with the triple F for fresh fly as well as fashionable, and the B is black for black.
Wow.
Because without any black, we feel lost.
It's true. Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, today we are going to be celebrating someone who's doing absolutely amazing. She is a TV broadcaster, radio broadcaster, an entrepreneur. So many hats that she is currently wearing. Big shout out one time. Introduce yourself, superstar.
Thank you. It feels so good to be here. This space is so dope, guys. Thank you.
Yeah, it is. It is. Big shout out to St. Studios.
Yeah.
So we have our intros. Now we're going to throw you in so that you give us your best intro.
Oh, my word. What do I say? I should have rehearsed this. Okay, so, I mean, you said it best. Radio presenter, TV presenter, business owner, mom of two beautiful boys, future wife, MC, certified life coach, absolute rebel. I think that's it for now. Sammy Sosa.
Yay!
Usher us into the show.
So in this family, we have a family tradition, which is we play games, right?
Oh, no.
And today, I just want to go in a little hard.
Okay. I hope it's 30 seconds. I'm good at that. Okay.
I'm always struggling with games. I just have to keep up all the time.
So I just want to find out how South African you guys are.
Okay.
So I'm going to ask you a question, give you multiple choice question.
We're
answers.
a team.
No, you're going head to head because at the end of the game, I'm going to rate you based on how South African you are.
But you also need to participate, right?
Yeah.
We need to rate you.
I'm looking at the answers. Best believe I am almost South African.
Oh, okay.
Almost.
That's good.
First one, what does it mean if somebody tells you just now? Is it A, immediately, B, in 5 minutes, C, at some intermediate time in the future, maybe never, or D, they breaking up with you?
Oh, it's probably C. I think C.
I'm going to go for B.
You're going to go for B?
Yeah.
Are you sure about that?
100.
Are you also sure about that?
Absolutely. Lock it in. Lock it in.
And the correct answer is C.
Woo!
Thank you.
Maybe never.
No, we'll give
I
it.
mean,
We'll give it to the queen. It's fine.
we have African culture and then we have South African
Exactly.
time.
Yeah.
Which is probably never. I can be 5 minutes away, but my 5 minutes is like an hour.
I was on time, by the way.
This is getting personal. I don't like this game anymore. All right. Question number 2. Which of these is not a real South African snack? A, biltong, B, Gatsby, C, cook sister, or D, bungee biltong wrap?
I think the last one. D.
D.
Never heard
I'm
of
going to go for B. I'm taking a wild guess there.
Are you sure?
I'm sure.
We should have been a team. We should have been on a team. Oh, yes.
And the correct answer is D.
Woo!
Bungee biltong wrap. So
Wow.
2-0.
Nah.
How do you feel? How do you feel?
It's so good. I love it. I'm so competitive.
Number 3. What is a robot in South Africa? A machine that does your chores. B, a traffic light. C, soccer referee. Or D, your cousin's weird boyfriend.
That one is easy.
B?
Are you guys sure?
Yes.
100.
Should I ask the question again?
No.
Nah, we're good.
The correct answer is B. Finally, you get something. Yay, yay, yay. So 3 against 1.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Question number 4. What do you do at a braai? A, you meditate. B, you argue about rugby. C, you burn meat and love every second of it. Or D, all the above.
I'm going to go with all the above.
All the above.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, you guys are eating this right now.
Woof.
Yes.
2 and 5. And now we go to question number 5, right? What is the national pastime of South Africa? A, rugby. B, complaining about Eskom. C, chasing monkeys out of your kitchen. Or D, all the above.
What's the question again?
What is the national pastime of South Africa?
Okay.
So we have A, which is rugby. B, complaining about Eskom. C, chasing monkeys outside of your kitchen. Or D, all the above.
I think B.
B.
Give me C.
You want C?
Yeah.
Should I try to ask the question again?
That's a wild guess. I
Wait,
gave there.
let's ask the question again.
Okay. What is the national pastime of South Africa?
Yes.
A, rugby. B, complaining about Eskom. C, chasing monkeys outside of your kitchen. Or D, all the above.
See, we're not in a team,
Tough
so
one.
I'm just going to choose B. It's fine.
And you said C.
Let me take D. I'm
You wanna
changing my
take
answer.
D?
Yeah. I love the above.
I'm proud of you.
Oh, really?
That's the correct answer.
I gave it to him. I gave it to him.
The score right now is 2 against.
It's 3-3. What did you say?
No.
Is it?
you-
4-2?
Yes. That's the
4-2.
score. Yes.
Is it?
You've been losing, my guy.
5-3.
You've been losing. So it's 4-2.
Last question. Let's go.
It goes, if someone says Aish, what are they likely expressing?
Okay.
Is it A, pure joy, B, confusion, shock, pain, or anything really? C, they stepped on a Lego, or D, they just saw a petrol price?
B.
I wish there was an all of the above answer. What's
There
the
isn't.
options again?
So A, pure joy, B,
Yes.
confusion, shock, pain, or anything really?
Yes.
C, they stepped on Lego, or D, they just saw the price of petrol?
Could be B or
B.
D.
Yes.
B,
Yeah.
B.
Yeah.
B. The correct answer, well, we have 2 correct answers, so I'm just going to give you guys a little bit of time
So
to
are we-
reconsider.
Are you both correct? Is that what you're saying?
I'm going to give you
So
time
there's
to
2 possible options.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm going to say D.
D. B and D.
B and
yeah.
D.
B and D.
Let's lock it in.
You guys ate that. Those are both the answers.
Telepathy.
Shut
All
up.
right, let's just go for one last one. What is slab chips in South Africa? Is it A, chips that have been physically abused?
Wow.
B, soft fries soaked in vinegar? C, a type of fish? Or D, something your mom gives you when you're cheeky?
B.
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 Yeah.
Okay, cool. Ladies and gents, boys and girls, I'm about to give you the score. We already know that some guy already lost dismally, which is just very sad. So based on your ratings, we're going to say, Sammy, you are definitely more South African than a bakkie stuck in a pothole.
I should hope so. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Yeah, and then for you, Magiva, no, we're just going to call, you need a visit to your local super
Shame.
market because your South African is not South Africaning.
Nah.
I
It's gonna
am
get
not-
better.
I am
It's gonna get
not
better,
happy with you
definitely.
right now.
But let's get into interesting conversations, right? Like I said at the beginning of the show, we are celebrating someone who's doing absolutely amazing. She has been in our screens on our radio for like forever. We get to finally, unpack what goes into the beauty that we see on all these platforms. So I want you to take us back to Eastern Cape, right? That's where you were born. Kindly explain your life then before the Sammy Sosa that we know today.
Yeah, so to be honest, I was just born there. I don't remember a life there.
Yeah.
I traveled a lot as a youngster. So from the Eastern Cape, I was then in Manchester. My parents were studying in the UK. I spent a lot of time in Pretoria. I was there for many years. And then I ultimately settled in Cape Town for like 14 years, right?
beautiful.
And, my parents were so politically involved and, they really wanted to educate themselves, and prepare themselves for what was to happen in this country. And of course, when you're young, you don't get what's going on.
What's going
you're
on,
just
true.
moving. And then ultimately, you know, my career started in 2014 when I moved to Joburg. But my upbringing was great. You know, I had a really good childhood. I mean, you know, I think about my brothers. I think about traveling around the country, you know, seeing the world. And both of those things, politics, education, and travel, was so important in my household, you know.
Yeah.
Expanding your mind, meeting people, you know, very liberal. And I think
Beautiful.
that, you know, definitely shaped the person that I am today. Yeah.
Beautiful.
So now we are in 2014, where a teenage boy like myself is just sitting at home watching Vuzu, and I'm just so starstruck because there was The Entertainment. You know, that was my favorite show.
Oh, wow.
And I get to see you. Like I said, when I entered the room, I was screaming internally because I was like, finally,
Thank you.
I get to meet her. So I just want you to take us when your career really started in 2014.
So I haven't told this story often, but I remember doing campus radio in Cape Town.
Yeah.
And, you know, when people think campus radio, they think, oh, well, you know, maybe you're just interviewing a couple of, you know, students and doing some fun stuff on campus, right? And I thought this is a great way to treat the station like a commercial space. So I would invite the likes of Dream Team. You know, I had met them. You know, I invited El Tito. You know, there were like some really cool, you know, artists that I had brought into the radio station. Kuli Chana was also there at some point.
Big shout out.
And then, you know, I met Scoop, and Scoop said to me, listen, why don't you come up to Joburg and visit Y? And I was like, wow, you know, coming from that guy, you know, the caliber of person telling me to go to Joburg.
Yeah.
And I did it, and, you know, I was rejected, plain and simple, right? Wasn't the right time.
Yeah.
So I continued my journey on campus radio, and then I got a call to say, listen, there's an opening. Why don't you, you know, come through? I mean, listen, there's 3 other, you know, girls that have to, you know, try out for the show, so to speak.
Yeah.
And because I was in Cape Town, I went last. You know, everyone got an opportunity to do the show for a week.
Yeah.
And I went up to Joburg. I did the show for a week, and ultimately I got the show, you know. And that was when my career started. I did Monday to Friday. It was, 10 to 12, and my show was called Made Different. And the thinking behind that was, look, I wasn't from Joburg. I didn't really understand the culture. I didn't really understand, you know, the pace of radio.
Yeah.
And I guess I sounded different as well. I looked different. And that was the premise of my show, you know, is that it's okay to be different, right?
Absolutely.
And then I guess the guys from Vuzu came into studio one day, and they had done like a Vox with me, and they were like, hey, we should get you on the
are the
show.
girl.
Do you know what I mean? And I think that's pretty much where, you know, everything catapulted, you know, because I had never been on television. I've never experienced being on TV. And I think, you know, that was TV at its best, you know, like real, raw, you know, entertainment, you know, celebrating entertainment, celebrating music, celebrating people. And the best thing that I could identify with that form of television is that every presenter was so different.
Yeah.
Like there was such a beautiful sense of individualism. Like you could be you with your personality, you could be you with yours, I could be me with mine. Irrespective of whether, you know, I'm out there or I'm not, I could be me.
Absolutely.
Right?
Ah, that's beautiful. So, in everything that is happening, what are your parents saying? Did you ever have a conversation with them to say, look, entertainment is what I'm going to pursue? I'm asking because often, a lot of time, parents don't understand this job that we are doing. So what's the conversation like, you know, as you are climbing the ladder, obviously making it on TV and radio?
Yeah, I guess it was different. You know, I had always had the conversation with my late father about journalism. You know, he wanted me to go to Rhodes, study journalism, and, you know, dodge bombs, you know. And you know, I loved the idea, but this seemed a little bit better, right?
Yeah.
And, you know, I remember being on air, and I would tell my parents to tune in, and they would always give me feedback. You know, like my dad would say, speak slower. You know, or my mum would say, don't talk about that, you know, which at the time, you know, I didn't enjoy very much. But the fact that they took their time to listen and pay attention, and they were present enough for that, meant the world to me, you know. I think, in hindsight, I don't think I included them or involved them as much as I should have. You know, there were things that happened in my career, there were things that happened in my life that I probably should have spoken to them about.
True,
you know,
true.
and reached out for advice or whatever the case is. You know, so I think it was very surface level.
Yes.
And I only sort of let them in to a certain extent.
Just to an
you
extent.
know, which I have my regrets around, but they were pretty supportive.
It makes sense.
Love it, love it. So now I want to get into, now you're in Joburg, there was Y, and then now there's Vuzu, and you've done TV, which you've never done before, but looking at you on screen, you were such a natural, you know, and working with everybody there. I mean, always and oftentimes, yourself and Denise, you know, you guys really represented what it means to be different on TV. And at that time, I
Dennis
think,
Simba.
yes.
Big shout out.
At that time, I was attending auditions because I remember I went to a UTV audition.
Wow.
And when I got there, they told me that before you even start, just know that we're looking for somebody different.
Yes.
And at that time, I was like, different? What is different?
Yeah.
I was so confused, but I did my thing. And obviously, there will be trials and, you know, errors here and there. But I just want you to, you know, for somebody who's looking into getting into the presenting space, when they tell them to be different, what are they really implying?
Good question, because a lot of people actually imitate people when they go for auditions.
It's so tricky, you know, because like today, my advice would be to be unapologetically authentic, right? Be yourself.
Big shout out.
Right? But I don't think that's the case. I don't think, you know, the industry is like that. I don't think we're there yet, you know. One thing that I often tell people is like, you know, like we have talent, right? There's talent in this room.
Absolutely.
And that's never going to go away.
Yeah.
Right? But that's not the only thing that you need to survive. Like you cannot just base your life and your career and, you know, all these other things on talent alone. Maybe in some cases it's about who you know, maybe
Absolutely.
in other cases it's about, I don't know, furthering your career in some way, shape or form. Maybe it's a matter of, you know, finding a mentor. Like there's different things that sometimes we have to incorporate into this. You know, I don't even know if it was just luck, you know, that all of this stuff happened to me in my career. I don't know what it is, you know.
True.
But I look back and I realize that the person I am today is very different to the person I was back then.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I was a little bit reckless. You know what I mean? I was, you know, I didn't take half of this stuff very seriously. You know, and I thought that talent was the only thing that I needed to survive.
Yeah.
That I needed to elevate myself. You know, and it's actually not the case. So it's such a difficult question to answer, you know, because if I was the decision maker, you know, I think we'd have an industry that looks very different to what it does today.
True.
And I think you'd have people who are able to really hone into their craft as opposed to let's DJ and do a podcast and be a TV presenter and host a show and be the judge on a show and do this and also do that and choreograph and, you know, do all these things, right? I feel like, you know, we're not in a position to really hone in on something and be really good at it.
And sharpen yourself.
You know what I mean? And like say, hey, because, I mean, John Perlman, for example, you know, he's one of the most incredible broadcasters. And that's all I think he does, you know? He makes great radio on 702.
True.
I've never seen him DJ. But if you have, tell me. You know what I mean? Have you? Tell me.
I'm a DJ and I'm a podcaster. I'm
You know?
guilty. Yeah.
But and I'm sure that you're good at those two things. And you're able to give both those mediums the attention and the love that it deserves.
Yeah.
You know? I'm also guilty of a lot of stuff. I'm guilty of wanting to pursue many different things, knowing that I'm not that good at it. But, you know, if
What's one of those
if it
things?
pays the bills, okay.
Gotta do it.
But
Okay.
what is one of those things that you wanted to tap into?
Hey, look, I think I got a lot of pressure from some people, you know, to DJ.
Yeah.
You know, a great example would be when I made a song, right? So when I was at Y, you guys must play it. Maybe not today, but you know. So
Definitely
when I was at Y, I worked with a guy named Dumelo.
Yeah.
And he worked very closely with Black Coffee. And I said to him, listen, you're a vocalist, you're an incredible songwriter. can you help me make a song? Right? And I just wanted to experience what it would be like to be in a studio and make music and sing, right?
Yeah.
Didn't have the voice for it. I don't think I had the voice for it, but it was one of the things that I wanted to tick off on my bucket list. And it happened, right? Copious amounts of wine, lots of writing. And I released the song and it played. It was playlisted at YFM.
On radio.
On every single show at YFM.
Big shout out.
It playlisted, right?
Big
It was
shout out.
called Love in the Summer. And, I was done. And then I recorded another song and it was called Nguwe.
Yeah.
And still to this day, I don't know what half the lyrics mean, but it's okay, right? The song was written for me. It was produced for me. And, that was one thing that I could have probably taken further and pursued. But I was very clear about the fact that I'm not a vocalist.
I'm not a vocalist.
I'm not a
exploring.
singer-songwriter. I'm not a producer. Yes, I might listen to Marvin Gaye or Angie Stone, and a lot of jazz music, but I don't have the talent that these people have, And I really enjoyed, there was a different type of joy that I got from being behind the mic and being on air versus being in studio.
True.
And I think, yes, perhaps there could have been an opportunity for me to collaborate or further this hobby, this interest, but I was never going to take it seriously.
Yeah.
That makes sense. So, TV, radio, you are still young. How do you then navigate fame at that time?
So at the time, my son was 3 months old. Garabelo was three months old. We had moved from Cape Town to Johannesburg, and we spent like a year in a hotel, and we lived with my aunt. And when I really started doing my thing, and there was a bit of traction and stuff. I was out, and I'd rock up at like 3 a.m, and my aunt would say, "What did he say? I can't do this." I said, "Whoa," and that became my life, and I had other people raising my son, it was, I need a nanny, I need this, I need that, and my sort of idea of being a mum at the time was, is there a home? Is the fridge full? Is there hot water? Does my son have clothes on his back? I was a provider.
Yeah.
And the mistake that I made is that I was a provider and I wasn't a nurturer. Anything that came up, I was there. Fly to Durban, go to the Vaal, do this, do that. Do this interview. That was my priority. That was my love. And I don't think it was out of desperation. I think it was out of, I don't know, I just thought that was normal.
Love also for what you do, right? More than anything.
I guess so.
True.
But, I didn't have a team. So many people have teams, they have a manager and they have this and that. And I didn't have a solid team around me, to make the decisions for me, to run the books, to manage the money, I didn't have that, and I might have once or twice, but I wasn't the easiest person to work with. I wasn't the easiest person to deal with, and I certainly didn't listen either, So what people would see on the outside and the sort of advice and suggestions that they would give me, wasn't interested. I was living my best life. What do you mean?
Yeah.
Coming from Cape Town, I'm on primetime radio. I'm a TV star. What do you mean?
True.
How can you tell me what's best for me? And yeah, I don't know what happened then.
Because my other question was going to be that at the time when you got into the entertainment industry,
Yes.
were you signed with any agency?
No.
And at some point in time,
Probably there's one or two people that helped me out. May his soul rest in peace. Tibbs was a very good part of my career and a big part of my life as well. And at the time, I think I was in the camp. I was in the Reason camp. We were all together. But again, I think I became very resentful very quickly because it felt like, my career wasn't moving as rapidly as everybody else's career, and I thought, oh, why does the rapper, get the gig, And my kind of thinking was that as a camp, we move together, we grow together.
Yeah.
True.
I scratch your back, you scratch my back. Like, yes, you rap, but let me bring you on stage type of thing. You know what I mean? And I wanted a piece of absolutely everything, and didn't realize that your journey's your journey. My time will come. So there was an element of real like ignorance, but also like the lack of patience, this instant gratification that things
Lack of
need to happen
patience.
now.
True.
So I think about those times, and I think about, the influence that I had around me, and maybe I took advantage. I don't know.
At this particular moment in time, would you say it's important for somebody, an artist rather, to have, a management team?
I think so. I think a team that has your best interest at heart,
Absolutely.
not their own. You need a team that has a vision, a team that's forward thinking, a team that is rooted in values and morals, like what I've realized in my life today is that it's okay to say no to things.
True.
It's okay to only do things that align with who you are. It's okay to, I'm here because I want to be here. I'm not here because I was forced to be here. And I think
Absolutely.
the rapport that people build with you, like shout out to the producer, like when you get an email that's so beautifully written and so forthcoming and positive, and like you get a response. You ask a question, you get a response. Like I love that.
Absolutely.
Producer.
Big shout out to our producer.
You ate that. You
Big
ate
shout
that.
out.
Put that on your WhatsApp story. Okay.
Okay, right. As a child star, how then do we manage finances? I'm asking all this because I know that, while we are young, obviously, we tend to have fun a lot, and it's just basically, part of growing, right? How do we then, manage finances at your peak?
Oh, I haven't grown up yet.
Yeah.
What is it? This question is not for me. I'm terrible with money. Terrible with money. And it's always been like that. And people say, "Oh, but my parents didn't teach me about tax." No, shut up. Like, what do you mean? You know what I mean? Like, it's such a, I can't even speak to this topic. Like, it's so embarrassing. Like how bad I am with money. What I will say is that I have a better understanding of money today.
Better understanding
Like
of money.
I
Big shout out.
I can tell you that 10 grand is not going to last the whole month. I can,
Is it gonna last a
I can
minute?
tell you that for free. Do you know what I mean? Like 10 grand cannot go a long way. It's what's so interesting is I spoke to the grandson of Walter Sisulu many months ago, and he's got an incredible gift. And he was talking about money in my life, and he was saying, have you ever been able to resonate with the topic of, money coming in and money going out? And I said, absolutely. That's been my how I treat money. It comes in, it's got to go out. It's got to go somewhere. Got to spend it.
Yeah.
And slowly but surely, like I'm learning to really to respect money.
Yeah.
I'm really understanding that we need to respect money. And, I'm in the most incredible relationship, and we have this kind of philosophy where, it's our money. It's our money, and this is the money that's gonna make us comfortable, and that's gonna make us okay. And, us includes our children as well, but call me back like in a year or so, and then we can talk about this conversation again. Like by then, we have a broker, you know what I mean? We have a broker, and we're putting money towards the retirement, and we've got savings and stuff, you know what I mean? Like we're getting there.
We're getting there.
But yeah, we'll talk again about the money thing.
Beautiful.
Thank you for directing that to me. I really appreciate it.
Woo!
So now, first, before I even go to the question, do you know about the circle of control and the circle of influence?
Talk to me.
All right. So when it comes to the entertainment industry, right, especially when you do presenting for the most part, you're always worried about how are people going to perceive me? And is that something you can control, or is that something you just leave up to the audience to decide if they will like you or they won't like you? And if they don't like you, sometimes they can just like try to like pull you down? And how do you work around that?
It's definitely the latter, by the way. I hope that's for points.
You keep on losing. It's the point. You keep on losing.
You don't have to
So-
come for me.
I mean, I think 10, 11 years ago, I would have said A. You know, it's so important what people think of you. It's so important how the world perceives you. You know, it's so important how you look and how you dress and how you sound and what you do. You know, what I've recently learned is that if everybody likes you, you're doing something wrong.
Right? Big shout out.
Um,
Big shout out.
I love that, you know, because I come from a life of people pleasing. You know, like if I knew you didn't like me off the bat, I would do something to make you like me.
True.
Right? And we think about friendships and relationships being very transactional.
Yeah.
You know, that, listen, I'm a TV star. You know, I'm a radio presenter. Like, I'll get you in the VIP. I'll get you whatever you want. You know, I'll take you to wherever you want to go to. So we buy friendships and we buy relationships, and it's so, you know, surface level stuff, right? And that's what I was saying. Like, you know, not everybody's going to like you. Not everybody's going to like the way you present and what you do. And I remember somebody once said to me, you know what, Sam, I'd love to book you for this gig, but you're not relevant, right? I would love for you to be a part of this gig. I wish I could book you, but you're not relevant because you're not on radio at the moment and you're not really doing much. I said, what do you mean?
What do you
like,
mean?
I'm still the same person. You know what I mean?
True.
And that's how people think today. Like, you know, like we don't see you, therefore you're not doing shit. You know, we don't see you, so therefore you're not at the top of anybody's mind. You know, so I've learned to accept that. You know, I've actually also learned to embrace that and appreciate that. You know. I think about like some of the most difficult moments in my life. I think about like when I was sick and when I was, you know, just sick and tired of being sick and tired, and when I was, you know, hospitalized and this, that, and the other. All those people who booked me and called me irrelevant or said they were my friends or said they love me and they take care of me, they were never there during that time. They were never there during that time. Right? So what does that say about even my perception of what a real friend is? What does that say about, you know, the people that I open up to the most, you know, that I am the most vulnerable with? What does that say about, you know, me? What does it say about them? Right? And honestly speaking, you know, I think one of the things that I've done right is I've been myself. You know, I went to a gig last night. I went to a party last night, and there were so many people that I ran into, and you know, the respect they show me. Yeah. You know, the time that they take to greet me and to ask me how I'm doing and to compliment me and say, Sam, you're looking great. And you know, they don't even thank you. You do. Which camera do I look into?
All of them. You do.
Thank you.
Big shout out.
They don't even, you know, it's not even about where are you now? What are you doing?
Yeah.
You know, I'm happy. Can you see that I'm happy? Right? Can you see that I've still got a pulse? Right? Can you see that I'm in love?
Absolutely.
Right? I think that's what we should be. That's where we should be at.
That's,
you know?
yeah,
Like, not what radio station, how much are you earning today? Like where you know what I mean?
True.
You know,
True.
it's how are you? How you doing?
How you doing?
How are your kids? How's life?
How's everything?
Right?
You know?
Yeah.
It makes sense. But then it brings me to my next question. How do you then maneuver friendships, to be specific, in the entertainment industry? Because often the time, people are going to be around you when, you know, things are popping, you are at the prime of your career. But then, like you said, when you got sick, they disappeared. How do you generally maneuver when coming to friendships in the entertainment space?
Look, no one says you have to have friends in this industry, right?
Good one. You're no longer my friend.
You were never my friend.
Because then they're gonna come for me and they're like, "Yeah, Sam said." Let's not get it twisted. I also had a role to play.
Absolutely.
I had a very big role to play in, you know, the damage and the destruction and the loss of like a lot of relationships, you know, whether acquaintances, whether romantic relationships, whatever. You know, I had a role to play, you know. And this journey that I've been on, you know, for the last, I don't know, 5 years or so, has been a lot about introspection. You know, like what has my role been? You know, that when I meet someone, I never off the bat am able to say, this is the role that I'm playing in this friendship. You know, I am this to you, I am that to you. You know, no boundaries, boundaryless, right? And also never had the ability to respect other people's boundaries. Right. So the work that I've been doing is to say my role in these friendships was that, yeah, maybe I was a little bit manipulative at times. You know, maybe I was a bit inconsiderate. Maybe I was irrational. Maybe I was dishonest. You know, perhaps I was unreliable. You know, that became a big thing for me. You know, is that I was unreliable, and I'm able to say that today. You know. Because that's what it was.
True,
you know.
true.
And I still, like I said in the beginning, I still thought that I could get away with it. You know, because I'm that talented. You know, I'm that. You know, I'm this, that, and the
Because you
other.
are
Like,
that,
you know, oh, you're tatted up, and you know, we love this. No, you know. And today, you know, even in our household, you know, we're so overprotective over our people. You know, our friendships. You know, and we are saying to ourselves, what are we putting into this friendship, you know? And it's not money, you know, we're not investing money, we're investing time, we're investing love, we're investing wisdom, we're investing, you know, care. You know, we've got friends in our life today, you know, they're first-time mothers and fathers, you know. What can we do? How do we show up in that friendship, you know? They're struggling, you know? And it's reciprocal, right?
Absolutely.
I want to go to my friend and say, you know, my other half says to a friend of ours, you know, I want to study. You know, I'm thinking of studying and doing something. And the advice that he got from this friend of ours was that when you study something, it doesn't necessarily mean that you're going into that industry. You're studying because you want to broaden your mind.
Broaden your mind,
You know,
expand the
expand
knowledge,
your mind.
the skills.
You know, learn something different. Do you know what I mean?
True.
We're so fixated on study law to become a lawyer when maybe if you study law, you won't be in as much trouble as what you are today. You know what I mean?
Makes sense.
Hello?
That makes sense.
You know what I
Absolutely.
mean? Maybe what I should do is study commerce, you know? Then maybe I'd be able to respect money a little bit more. Do you know what I mean?
True.
You know, it doesn't mean I'm going to work for a bank. You know what I mean?
That makes sense.
And these are the circles that we find ourselves in, where we're in spaces where we're celebrating each other. You know, we're really holding space for one another. We're thinking about the future. We're talking about the future. You know, and as competitive as I am, and my family is, and my upbringing was, you know, I'm not competing with my friends. I'm not competing in my relationship. I'm not competing with your bank account.
True.
You know, and I think what we get wrong in this industry is that everything is a competition.
It's competition.
You know, we're competing against everybody else when we should probably just be competing with ourselves. You know, and setting the benchmark for ourselves.
Shout out. Love it. Love it. So let's talk more about radio. You've been to a couple of radio stations, Metro, Y, Power, Touch HD. How then do you maneuver on radio? And I'm personally asking this for myself, right? I did community radio for 8 years, but at some point I felt like I was stuck. Hence we then, you know, had to launch at this platform. He also did radio, by the way. So how do you then maneuver, you know, make it to your commercial radio, national radio? What's the secret behind?
No, I don't know. I have no idea. You know,
This time around, you giving us advice as opposed to someone who's watching.
you know, what's very interesting about my life today. Oh, maybe it's not interesting for you, but what really helps me is that I have realized that I cannot control the outcome of anything.
Absolutely.
I'm not in control. And that example that you made about being on radio and then saying we had to start this podcast could probably be like the best thing that ever happened to you. Like, do you know what I mean?
It has.
We have this this negative kind of perception around things that happen when we don't even realize that it's a blessing.
It's a blessing,
You know, it's such an incredible. You're exactly where you're meant to be in this given moment. You know what I mean? This is and this moment is a moment that I don't think you might have, seen happening, but it's happened, right?
True.
And I think about my career, and I don't think that there's any other way that it could have or should have happened. If I could go back, I would do it exactly the same way. Exactly the same way, right? In that, I left Cape Town and I moved to Johannesburg and I went to Y. I got poached from Metro FM, very like, hey, meet us.
Hey.
Let's chat.
Let's chat.
Like, yeah, we've got an offer, Now I'm like, yo. But the money's too good.
Yeah.
The money's too good. I can't say no. Yo, let's go.
Yeah.
And then, shit hits the fan over there, and then you're quiet, and then you're there again, and then you pop up, and then something happens again, and then you're there, and then you're doing online radio, and it's like then you have a baby, then you have another baby, then how it happened in the way that it did. I am stronger today because of it. I'm wiser today because of it. I'm more resilient today because of it.
True.
I am more in touch with myself because of it. Not in touch with the people, you know what I mean? Not in touch with the industry, Like, I'm so out of touch with what's happening out there. And even that, like, I'm not even ashamed to say, because there's so much work that Sam needed to do on Sam. There's so much reflection and introspection that Sam needed to do on Sam. I go to 947 and I bump into people and they're doing well. They're doing people I worked with at YFM that are doing so well. And you think to yourself, like, how did they get here? Like, was it as difficult for them as it was for me?
Yeah.
Was it like easy and smooth sailing and fun, and were they just like da 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 da, like, okay, now they're here and they've made it, or did they also experience the same mistakes that I did? Did they also make the decisions that I did? Did they also, like, I don't know, but like I said, this is where I'm meant to be, and it's not in my timing, it's seriously not in my timing. And
God's timing.
I went, like, because you asked me a question about how to, and I don't know the answer. I really don't know the answer. And I think maybe what I should say is that we spend so much time listening to what everybody thinks is best for us.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Like, maybe you should try this. No, motherfucker. No. Like, no. You don't
Never
know me.
taste.
You don't know.
Yeah.
Right? And maybe you should really just think about what you want for yourself. Like, what are you really passionate about? What do you love doing? Like, I can tell you, if Karabo doesn't win Producer of the Year for 5 years, there's something wrong there.
Absolutely.
Do you know what I mean? Because you look at someone and you're like, you're so good at what you do, and you're this, that, and the other, and you've got all these things, and da 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 da. How can you not?
How can you not? Good question.
What is because you saw someone's career and you saw the car they drive and you saw the life that they have and you want that, you aspire to be that. It's not copy paste.
Yeah, no.
You won't have the same experience that person had.
Absolutely.
There is no way. My experience to get to where I am today has been very different. And it will always be very different.
Yeah.
And it will continue to be very different.
Unique and different to an individual.
I mean,
Love
everybody has a story, and it won't always be the same.
And own your story. Like, own it.
Absolutely.
Your story is your story. And like, only you tell it the best.
So here's how I'm going to tell my story the best.
Let's go.
Okay.
This is a very fast-paced industry.
Yes.
Today something is happening, tomorrow something else is happening. And in the midst of it all, you are a brand and you still want to keep your brand intact. Let's talk relevance. How do you still keep being relevant in the industry?
Oh, is this me or like in general?
General and you.
Oh.
Not her, to be specific as well, because one thing that I love about her, right? I'm so obsessed with people that are in the entertainment industry that are able to kill fashion, and they also have, big, beautiful brains. she is a combination of that as well. Oh,
Thank you.
but answer his question.
Okay, so your question again.
Relevance. How do you maintain the relevance in the industry?
It's so it's such a strange concept, you know. Relevance is relative. You know what I mean? Like I think about, you know, people who have followed my journey and walked with me since 2014. You know, despite thank you. Despite everything that's happened,
Yeah.
they know exactly what's happened in my career.
Yeah.
You know, where I am, where I'm not, you know, what I've done, you know, all these types of things, you know. So is it, I mean, I'm relevant to them, I guess. I'm not relevant to everybody else, you know.
True.
And I think the mistake that we also make is that, you know, we base who people are on what we see, you know. Like,
Absolutely.
you've got to be out there to be relevant. You've got to be, you know, we've got to see you to be important. We've got to, do you know what I mean? Like, I am relevant to my children. You know, I'm relevant to my partner. I'm relevant to my family, you know, my immediate
Absolutely.
family. That's, you know, what is relevance, you know? I just, and the thing is, this is what this gentleman said to me. Because we're not seeing you, you're not relevant. But why do you need to see me to be relevant?
Absolutely.
Why do you need to see me for me to be relevant? Do you know what I mean? There's money in my bank account, right? I'm healthy. I'm fit. I'm a good mother. I'm in recovery. I'm doing all these things. I've started 3 businesses. You know, I'm helping gender-based violence victims. I'm helping addicts and alcoholics, right? I am going to prisons and talking to inmates about recovery. That's the kind of shit I'm doing.
Beautiful.
But why do we need to see that? You know?
True.
Every time, you know, you can't even take a fucking cell phone into a prison, by the way. But like, should I like make a TikTok outside Sun City Prison? Be like,
To know
guys,
that you're doing something.
today, you know what I mean? Forgot my ID. You know, it's like, you know, it's.
Yeah.
I don't understand why we need to be seeing these things, you know, for people to deem us relevant, you know. And yes, you know, I get that we want to be on primetime radio, and I get that we want to have the most successful podcast, you know. But are the most successful podcasts having real conversations? Are they having meaningful conversations? Are they educating people? Are they authentic? Are they, you know what I mean? Are we here to talk about ourselves, or are we here to talk about other people? Right? I don't, you cannot be the subject matter in my podcast. You know? If you're going to be the subject matter in this podcast, then sit on the seat. You know? So the point that I'm trying to make is that you decide, you know, what does relevance mean to you? And also, who are you trying to be relevant for? Am I trying to be relevant for the kids, right? Am I trying to be relevant for the younger generation, the older generation, my peers, right? The people in the podcast industry? Am I going to help people who have a passion for radio? Am I going to help them pursue that career? Right? Why don't you set up a little workshop and do a workshop, you know? Tell people the do's and don'ts based on your experience, right?
Yeah.
In life, we talk about things that we've experienced, right? We talk about, you know, life lessons, you know, like I'm going to talk about, you know, the shoes that I've walked in, how I walked in those shoes, you know, what happened for me.
For you specifically.
I don't know, you know, Bonang's story the way she does.
Yeah.
I don't know, you know, even my partner's story the way that he does, you know?
True.
So, I mean, I'm trying to be helpful with this answer, you know, but I think the real reflection is, what does this mean to me? Like,
What does it mean?
What am I trying to achieve here? Who do I want to be? You know?
Absolutely.
Like my mom says to me, you're 3 people. You're the person you were, the person you are today, and the person you're becoming. What is it going to take to get to the person that I'm becoming? What does that look like? Who's going to help me? Right? And when you're walking this path, you need to be very clear and very meticulous about who's on this journey with you. Like even in this room, you know? Even in this room, who are these people in this room? Do they share the same vision? Do they support your dream? Right? Do they share the same values? Do they drink the same wine? If not, that's okay. Yeah, that's okay. Right?
Yeah, it makes sense. And there's so much growth in your story, right? I want us to tap into the businesses that you are running. When then do you decide, okay, fine, I also want to explore and venture into business?
Look, in Joburg, I mean, everybody's doing more than one thing.
Absolutely.
You know, which is contradictory to what I said earlier. 'Cause I'm like, don't do 5 things, you know, just do one, you know. But it's, I have no regrets, you know, like being a part of businesses, starting businesses, you know. I serve on the board for so many organizations. Okay, when I say so many, it's only 2, but, you know. But, you know, and these organizations are making a huge impact, you know, in this country, globally, etc. You know, and for people to think that I'm worthy of a position like that, and I have the expertise and I have the knowledge to give input and help, you know, great. You know, often like there's things that people see in us that we don't see. You know, we all have this blind spot, and it's like, yo, you know, maybe there's some truth in that stuff, you know. And it's businesses. I mean, it's in the luxury space. It's in the concierge space. There's so many different things happening, and I think why I love doing this kind of stuff is because I get to meet people. I get to talk to people. You know, I love nice things. You know, I really do. And the most incredible thing is that I get to do with people I love. You know,
Shout out.
I'm not saying go into business with, you know, your spouse or your kids or whatever, you know, because that's also messy, you know, family business, you know, like, but I've learned so much, and I've made so many mistakes along the way. You know, we've all made mistakes along the way, you know.
We're human, after
Exactly. You know, and what I often say to people is, okay, cool. Like, you don't have to make the same mistake over and over again. You know, like, smart people don't make the same mistakes over and over again, but the really smart people don't make the mistake that other people have made, right?
That's power
So
there.
you watch attentively, and you know, not to imitate, right? But you watch closely, and you listen closely, and you look at, you know, what other people have done, and you say, well, you know, we're not going to go down that road because we know where it ended up.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You know, and business is not for everybody. Like, you know, yes, I did this and I studied this and I did some project management here and there and whatever, but it's like, it's actually not for me. I won't lie, you know.
Yeah.
But I'm also self-sabotaging myself by saying I can't do this when I know that I can, you know. And no man is an island, you know. Even to put this podcast together, you know, to set up this mic, to choose the furniture, to set up the lights, you know, somebody's on the sound, you know, who paid the bill for the electricity, you know?
Yeah.
Who's keeping the lights on, right? It's a whole team. It's a whole group of people coming together to make this thing possible.
Absolutely.
And don't start a business if you're not going to give it the time and attention that it needs. That's the other thing. I often say that, you know, like, I'll ask the both of you, like, what's the most important thing in your life today? 1 or 2 things.
My boyfriend.
Wow.
I love this. And you?
For me, it's going to be this platform. Secondly, damn.
Yeah. You must pick another one, by the way. Okay, yeah?
Pick another one in the
Already
meantime.
on it. Okay, no, I'm not joking. But
That's so good. Me too.
obviously, it has to be this platform because this is something that we've been praying and hoping that we, eventually venture into. And it's still, still a work in progress. We still, getting a hang of everything. But apart from this platform, it'll have to be family because I'm very family oriented.
Okay, so boyfriend, podcast, family.
Yeah.
My mom is not gonna be happy about that. So let's make it family boyfriend podcast.
Yo, podcast is last, guys. Yo. Okay.
I guess for me, yes, this platform and family more than anything, even though, they are always here on our necks. But then, yeah, family for me more than anything, because those are the people that are going to be there for you when no one is there for you.
So why I asked that question is because, like, that's what people think. They think, our partners are the only, or the most important people in our lives, right? Family is everything, blood is thicker than what, like that's the whole mantra, my podcast, this is like my baby, like a business, right? This is my thing, right? And we forget that there's so many other parts of our lives, right? You have your career. What is your career? What does that look like? Like, are you studying as well, right? Your health is another aspect. That's another part of your life, right? Like, we take our health for granted,
True.
Your partner is there, yes, your family is there, right? Who are your friends, right? And it's not even about like who my friends are. It's what is my role in this friendship? Like, do I talk to my friends regularly, right?
Am I
do
honest with them?
Hello?
True.
Am I able to share like really honestly with my friends, right? That group of people, really? Or is it just like, what about service? Does this podcast go to, Soshanguve and do some community outreach work, or, I don't know, whatever, are you volunteering somewhere? Are you doing some sort of service and giving back to your community? That's another part of your life.
Yeah.
Getting out of self, I'm a very selfish person, even more so than what I was like 10 years ago. I'm extremely selfish, right? But there's an element of selflessness, right? Where I serve others and I serve my people, serve my partner. As a holla back.
So we do agree that partners are important.
Full service.
You know what I mean?
Don't do a half job, right? Okay. That's another part of your life, right?
Absolutely.
Spirituality, right? Like, no one's saying, go to church every day, but like, what does that look like? Are you centered? Are you a good person? Are you practicing, honesty and love and compassion, and you're not judging everybody, and you're too focused on everybody else's bullshit, and not even, right?
Yeah.
And another aspect of your life, is my self-image, right? Like, I came in here, it looks so dope. Do you know what I mean?
True.
But self-image is not always what's on the outside. It's, do I respect my body?
Absolutely.
Do I believe in myself? Do I believe in my capabilities? Do I believe in who I am today and what I will become? Those are the things that we place, or that we should place emphasis on. And at the end of the day, you can love your podcast to death, but every other aspect of your life will suffer.
Yeah.
True.
You can love your boyfriend to death, but what's happening with your podcast? What's happening with your health? What's happening with your friendships? I asked my partner, like, babe, do you have hobbies? It's just sport. Babe, you can't football and golf and tennis and this and that and swim and what. Like, fucking knit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Let's paint, right? Get a hobby and do something outside of yourself.
True.
But then you ask yourself, why is this uncomfortable? Why do these people make me feel uncomfortable? What is it about how I feel and this dis-ease and this insecurity that I have? And think about what it is.
And
deal
that
with it.
also
And fucking deal with it.
unlocks,
Hello?
in your mind. Beautiful. Beautiful. The industry, though, is taking a very
My boyfriend
different...
is number one. It's okay.
Yeah.
He will always be number one.
Okay, right. Before we quickly close the show, I wanted to ask, right, what's your opinion, what's your take on this? Because the industry is taking a very different direction. We have influencers now entering the chart, and obviously those also don't have your media training and all that. There's just a whole lot that is happening in that part of life. So, and obviously they are getting all these gigs as well in the process. So what's your take holistically with where the industry is going now?
I don't know, guys. I think I'm just so like far removed from what's happening.
Yeah.
Like I stay in my lane and I do my thing. And if I must do radio, I do radio, and I fucking kill it, man. Yeah, and like if there's a gig, I do the gig. If Gara was asking me to podcast, I'm driving to Edenvale. I'm doing the things, like, right?
It makes sense.
I don't have anything to say on this stuff. You know, like if you're great at content creation, if you shoot good videos, if you're fun, if you're authentic, you know, cool. I think that's actually what it is. Like, just be yourself.
Be
you know,
yourself.
and
Do you?
and maybe that's why people become as successful as what they do, because they're just themselves.
Yeah.
Makes sense. In closing?
In closing, I don't think I'm still the same person.
After today,
Like right now, I don't feel like I'm the same person. I feel like I'm worse than what I was before. I'm joking.
what? We can do this again. Let's start over. Let's re-record.
No, but on a serious note, I do feel very different. You know, there's something you said, especially when I asked you a question about, you know, being likable and not being likable. The answer that you gave, it really just shifted a huge aspect of my life, because I'm too focused on being too much of a perfectionist that if things don't go my way, I start to freak out. Because I'm just like, why isn't this going my way? But, you know, right now I do get it that just because I'm getting negative reviews or I'm not getting the response that I'm looking for, doesn't have to really take me down. Instead, it should actually light a fire up in me to actually do better, you know, because I believe that being comfortable is just the worst thing that can happen to a person.
Correct.
You know, I just like putting myself out there, trying things that I've never tried before.
Beautiful.
If it works out, it works out. If it doesn't work out, we'll try again. Maybe it'll work out. But if it doesn't work out, then okay, cool. We move on to the next thing.
Yeah.
But I just want to say that, you know, like I said, from a very young age, when I saw you on screen, I just instantly fell in love.
Thank you.
Seeing you today, it was just that screaming inside that just like, yeah,
Yay.
I've been waiting for this to happen. You really are remarkable at what you do.
Thank you.
You really, really are. And thank you so much for being on screen and just inspiring young people like myself, you know, to actually go into the entertainment industry. And best believe that is like the best decision I've ever taken in my life.
Wow.
Because I do enjoy what I do.
Yeah.
I enjoy being here. I enjoy, you know, filming and just entertaining people and just being one. So thank you so much for this interview. It has been absolutely amazing sitting
so.
across you.
Your time is now. You can scream now.
I can, right? But I can't breathe. I'm sorry. I don't have a waist.
I love that.
Can't even breathe. I'll try again.
Well, from my side, damn, you are such a superstar. One. Secondly, I love the fact that in everything that you mentioned, it linked back to accountability. And with accountability, there's so much growth in a person, in an individual. I don't really have much to say except to say we are watching. Continue to shine and prosper, continue to kill radio, continue to kill TV. We didn't even talk about future plans because the conversations were so amazing, but we're hoping that everything that you continue to dream for will definitely come to reality because you deserve it. Big shout out.
Can I say something?
Yeah.
Is there time to say something? Okay. And go. You know, I love that I got to come here and just speak. You know, I love to talk, by the way, in case you didn't know, right? And I got to come here and be myself and just speak. And it's not about, you know, trying to be smart, you know,
True,
trying to share wisdom, trying to, you know, everything that I shared is what has happened to me, what I've experienced. You know, I didn't get it out of a fucking textbook. You know, I didn't get it from ChatGPT. You know, these are real experiences that I've had in my life. You know, experiences as a mother. You know, experiences. You know, in relationships. You know, experience with drugs and alcohol and all these things. It's a culmination of experiences. You know, highs and lows that have gotten me to this point today.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? And I'm great. I'm fine. I'm happy. I'm healthy. You know, I love you guys. I love what you're doing. I love the space, right? And it's genuine. You know, it's not you're doing things because, what are they going to say? What are they going to think of me? You know, like if I do it, if I don't do it. Like, no. You know,
True.
what you see is what you get. And I think even for the both of you, really get to know each other, at your core, because a lot of people make assumptions and they have no fucking idea what they're talking about,
Yeah.
right? people don't know me. The people who comment and say what they're saying, they don't know you.
They don't
They
know.
watch 5 minutes of a podcast or 30 seconds of a podcast and they think they know you,
Concluded you.
but they have no idea who you are, right? And maybe as us, because we can't control what everybody else is saying out there, but maybe as us, we need to think about, what we're going to say before we say it.
Yeah.
We got to think about what we're going to do before we do it, right? If you're going to put negativity out there on other people and project your own shit onto other people, well then, rest is
Big
history.
shout out.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and
Thank you.
girls, Sammy Sosa.
Oh my word! Thank you.
Big shout out.
Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this because you need it. Best believe you do. And I mean, thank you, Sammy. I mean, now we're going on a date to get to know each other better. So excited.
Love.
Let's do it again, same time, same place next week. We are out.
Big shout out.